more intense. As the moment of death comes, all the energy of the body will be pulled from every cell. So we will feel a deep pulling within the body, and it will gather below the backbone in a bindu, in a small dot, as if the bow has been pulled, and on the string of the bow, the spirit and soul will escape from the body. And as the pulling happens, we move through the last 3 minutes of our life on this planet. And in those last 3 minutes, life reverses. We go from being a person to a young child. And we go through the main milestones of our life. And at each milestone, if we have made a wrong decision, we can change that decision. In the final moments, we will see a deep flashing light, deep blinding light. Light erases memory, and so all the memory of this life will be erased. And at that final moment, we'll forget even our name. And in that moment, the string will get released, and the soul will go through the top of the head out of the body. We will see our body falling down lifeless on the bed, and 4 to 6 people will come and carry the body to the cremation ground. See your body being burnt to ashes. Slowly, nothing remains except the ashes, the ultimate reduction of the body, the ultimate destination of the body. And then a gust of wind comes and blows away all the ashes, and there is just an empty space. Hold that empty space and breathe with a rhythm for 1 minute. Slowly come back and slowly open your eyes. Well, this afternoon we want to talk about the Sri Yantra. What we are going to talk about today is a very, very superficial overview of the Sri Yantra. It is something which is very deep and would take a few years to even have the knack of it, but it could take a lifetime to really study it. The word yantra comes from the root yam. Yam in the meaning an instrument or a support. Trana, meaning to release from bondage, to take the support of an instrument, to take the support of a diagram, and to use that to be free of that is the meaning of the yantra. Spiritual liberation. The Shri added in front says that the instrument is auspicious, beneficent to everyone. It is salutary in the sense that it calms the mind and it brings great prosperity. Later we will see within the word Shri is the word Ri, which is the mantra Rim of Bhuvaneshwari. So when Rim becomes S is added, the Sa is added on this side, meaning extremely beneficent, extremely good. So it changes the quality of Rim mantra. The Sri Yantra is an abstraction of the universe. When we study ourselves on the path of inner knowledge, whatever laws we study within ourselves are the same laws which are manifest in the universe. So there is outer space and there is inner space. And the manifestation that happens in the inner space is the same. So through the Sri Yantra, we see the creation of our inner world, the psychic world, but that is the same secret which brings about the creation of the universe. In the center, there is a dot which we call as Bindu. And around the Bindu, there are 9 interlocking triangles. This is both the key to creation and the key to dissolution. I'm not using the word destruction, the key to coming back into the dot and revealing the universe, unfolding the universe, the stretching of the dot to create the universe. The dot in the center of the Sri Yantra, take this and show it. It is the Bindu. It unfolds as it unfolds as a crescent moon, Ardha Chandra, as a crescent moon. So try to see the Omkar as a dot, which was initially the dot. The movement of the movement of the dot to unfold, it becomes the crescent moon. This crescent moon is the Tanmatra of the dot. And from that is AUM, the creation of the triangle. So the triangle, the basic Bindu inside is also a triangle. And the triangle, the apex is down, saying it is a female triangle. It is female energy. So creation has come from the womb of the mother. And that is why the basic triangle is pointing down with its apex down. There are 5 downward pointing triangles. There are 4 upward pointing triangles. Together they represent the 5 forms of the 5 downward represent the 5 forms of female energy. The 4 upward pointing represent the 4 forms of male energy, Shiva and Shakti. The upward pointing triangles also symbolize of the fire of tapa, the agni of sadhana, which we create. So the upward pointing triangles also signify that. It is wherever these triangles meet each other, it is the meeting of male energy and female energy. It is the meeting of Shiva and Shakti. The intersections of the 9 triangles create 43 minor triangles. And because we have taken the Bindu in the center as a triangle, we have 44 triangles. So there are totally 44 triangles. But the triangle in the center is not touching any of the triangles. Besides the 44 triangles, there are 24 sandhis, conjunctions, where 2 lines meet. There are 20, and each of them have deep significance where the 2 lines are meeting. And there are again 19 to 20 marma sandhis, marma sthans, where 3 lines meet. And those are very important too. The meeting of 2 signifies duality, different forms of duality. In life, there are so many different forms of duality, and these 24 signify those forms of duality. The meeting of 3 is the harmonizing of duality, where there are the 3 forces come together to create something, to express something in life. When we study the Sri Yantra, through the Sri Yantra, we can do it in 2 ways. There are 2 ways of moving in the Sri Yantra. We can start from the outermost boundary and slowly move our way into the center triangle, and this will be the process of dissolution of the universe, dissolution of the chitta, dissolution of the mind, as we move from the outer boundary right to the basic triangle in the center, which is pure consciousness. Everything is dissolved in that. So this will give us a view, an experience of the process of dissolution of the universe, not only the universe, the dissolution of the microcosm, our psychic nature. That is the contraction of diversity into again. In this movement, from the outside to the inside, we will experience some lower dimensions, that is gross dimensions, where the frequency of vibration, like in stone, the frequency of vibration is lowest. To higher and higher vibrations, to more subtle and subtle matter, into more subtle energies. So it will be a movement from the gross to the subtle. Or we can move from the Bindu inside to outside. And in this we will experience the unfolding of consciousness, the individualizing of consciousness, diversity of consciousness, where the higher dimension into the lower till we come to the outer square, which is the earth element. So in this we experience the dissolution of the universe. In this we experience the expansion and the diversity of the universe. But in both cases, we are moving through 9 circles, 9 enclosures. As we First manifestation is of the Shabda, the moon, the half syllable or the Tamat, and then the triangle being the uni of Shakti, which the universe is created. Process, Shiva is Kameshwar as the Bindu, and the triangle Trikona is Shakti is Kameshwari. The union of these is what brings about the Sri Yantra. We see that the Sri Yantra is the combination of two numerals, 9 triangles, and each triangle is 3 sides, 3 points. So it is the combination of 2 numerals, the law of 3, the law of 9. Main circuits formed correspond to the chakras of the body, but we are not going to take the chakras today. We just want to have a bird's eye view of the Sri Yantra. The Sri Yantra is the geometric form of the mantra Om. So when the mantra Om is recited, deeper and deeper, the vibrations which are created out of the mantra take the form of the Sri Yantra. Now the Sri Yantra is worshipped so you can see what is happening. 4 triangles pointing, 5 triangles pointing down, the central figure of 9 triangles, and the complete Sri Yantra, how it is created. Now, because these triangles are interlocking, they create circuits at different areas, and each of those circuits have been given a name. So we have 43 Devis, which represent the Shakti created at each point of crossing. Each of these Devis, they represent a certain aspect of existence. On the whole, the Sri Yantra represents the Mahavidya, which is Devi Tripura Sundari, and it is her form, her body. We know that in the original Tantra, only the Yantra was the Devi, there was no statue of the Devi. Now, another name for the Devi, Tripura Sundari, is Shodashi, means one who is 16 years old. Now this is a kind of key given to us over here, that when we move into the Sri Yantra from the square to the circles inside, we first come upon a 16-petal lotus, and that her name is Shodashi. Actually, it is the key to the 16-petal lotus. Now, the Sri Yantra is worshipped in 3 forms, but we're not going in the worship today. The first form is 2-dimensional. We see it on a paper or on a parchment. The second form is 3-dimensional. It is an elongated Sri Yantra, which is known as the form of Meru. Very mystical. Meru also being the backbone. Meru is the mystical mountain which is moksha when you reach the top of Meru. So one form is the conical form. The other is the round form, which which also looks like the shell of a tortoise, and that form is a representative of Vishnu in his Kurma avatar. And it talks about Indriya Jai, where we are able to bring the attention inside from the five senses. The five, that is where the tortoise can withdraw his limbs into the shell of the tortoise. Just as we go on any, what you call, spiritual journey, what we call as Tirtha Yatra. Do you want to show the three forms? Yeah, I show them. These are the three forms: the two-dimensional, the Meru, the Kurma. I will actually need that paper later.
Oh, three-dimensional.
Huh?
Three-dimension form.
He's wearing that three-dimensional one. You are wearing the three-dimensional one. The Kurma. You are wearing. If you can show. You can put it in the. This is the Kurma time. It's a very, very difficult, and because the Meru is easy to construct, but the Kurma is difficult to construct. The Sri Yantra. Show it to everyone. Don't, because he has it, don't put it in everyone. Show it to everyone. Yeah. I don't know what I'll be talking on this, otherwise I have brought from India. I have a couple of Merus in my bedroom.
I forgot. I have it at home.
You have it at home? Yeah. This shape is very powerful, very, very powerful. You can take a little bit of salt water with a cloth and just clean it when you reach. So it'll come back to the heart. Now, just as we go on any journey, that is Tirth Yatra, spiritual journey, so you will start by climbing the steps of the temple, or then moving from one till you come to the inner sanctum of the temple, right? Similarly, here the yogi, when he's moving into the Sri Yantra, he's moving on a real journey inside. These are 4 doors of the temple which he's entering into, and he's moving in a journey which leads to the final glimpse of the ultimate. Now, the first part of the Sri Yantra is the square. The square represents the earth element, and you see the square is made of 3 lines. Square is made of 3 lines. Hey, can I take a 1-minute break?
Yeah,
Huh?
sure.
I'll just take a stop it for a while. I'll just use the bathroom and come. Oh, sorry.
Square. Oh. બધાને મોકલાઈ દીધું, બધાને પેલા એમાં ગ્રુપ પર મોકલાઈ દીધું.
Now, we'll start? Yeah. So we saw that the square, which represents the earth element, it has it is formed by हेलो આ સ્પીકર દૂર લેવું પડશે બાકી અવાજ આવશે. Hello. Yeah. So the square is formed by 3 lines. Now, the outer line of the square is where we we stand and we look at the doors of the 4 doors. So when we are holding the Sri Yantra this way, the first door will be the top door, that is north, east, south, west. And the technique for entering the Sri Yantra is that you visualize this diagram, just the 4 doors and the square. You hold it inside, and from each of these doors you visualize your breath coming in from the door. So you first start with north, move to south, go to east, go to west, and in that you have made your entry into the temple. In that you have made your entry into the temple. This is the process of which we enter into the Sri Yantra. The second line is that once the breathing has come, yes, please.
When you say how to enter, you say to breathe by looking at the, what did you say?
Okay, we try to visualize this.
Okay.
So we've closed our eyes and we are looking at this inside.
Okay.
So we are breathing in from the north, we are breathing in from the south, we are breathing in from the east.
How could we breathe in from east, from sideways?
It happens we have two nadis which are east and west, Ida and Pingla, right? So we just visualize the breath coming in from the east, we visualize the breath coming in from, and in that we are now standing on the second line. We have moved from the first line to the second line of the Sri Yantra. Now at the second line we have to look inside and we have to see that there are no negative emotions, worry, fear, anger, jealousy. So there's an inner cleansing where now we are cleansing ourselves of all the negative emotions, right? In the second line. In the third line, we start visualizing the Shaktis of the Sri Yantra. Now, how to visualize that? We'll just have a look over here. You'll have to put this one here. So, the first is Brahmi Shakti. She is the Shakti of Brahma. Brahma being the power of expansion of consciousness, right? So, and you can see the number 1, we have to visualize it at that doorway, where we visualize ourselves expanding into consciousness. This gives us the power to overcome desire. It gives us the power to overcome desire. Number 2, just point out number 2. Point out number 2. At number 2, we have Maheshwari Shakti. And this is the transformation of anger. At this point, when so it's at the, what you can see, it's at the western gate. At the western gate, we transform anger. We can also visualize certain, instances of where we got angry and change that. At the northern gate, there is Kumari Shakti. This is the virgin energy of life, Kumari Shakti. And that virgin energy, it overcomes greed, lobh, and avarice, lolupta, what we call avarice is lolupta. At the gate number 4, that is the eastern gate, we visualize the Vaishnavi Shakti. She is the Shakti which penetrates everything in the universe. And when we understand that Shakti, in that moment we are free of illusion, free of moha, free of suggestibility. Then we go to the angles. We go to number 5, the first angle. That is Parai Shakti. And that, when we visualize that, we all get rid of wrong pride, wrong obstinacy, vanity. Then we go to number 6, another angle. And that is Indrani Shakti. And she is the energy of the 5 senses, where we move from sensitiveness to sensitivity, and she helps us in overcoming jealousy. At number 7, we invoke the Chamunda Shakti, which helps us to live life by dropping the expectation of the future, by dropping the desire for reward. And that is why it is very important, this Shakti. It helps us to move from linear time into vertical time. And the final is Mahalakshmi Shakti, number 8. And she helps us in wherever we have failed in life, outwardly or inwardly, we invoke that Shakti. So supposing we have failed to calm the mind, we visualize the calm mind and we invoke from that angle of the, we visualize that angle of the square. So in this we have now moved inside from the square. We have moved into the essence, into our essence, into the deeper part of our being. Now, we then come, now we have to understand that these 4 doors are the 4 doors of the universe. If we take our brain as a mini universe, if we take our brain as a mini universe, then these 4 doors are the openings to the central brain cavity, that is here, here, and here. 4 doors. Western gate, this east, right? 4 doors, and in the Brahmaran, the mini universe, the unfolding, the Shakti we have talked about. Now, from the square we move to 3 concentric circles. 3 concentric circles. Can you show those circles over here? These 3 rings represent the mind, the intelligence, the soul. Now, I see a good sweetmeat in a shop, right? So the mind says, I want to eat it. And the intelligence, that is the buddhi, says, if you eat it, you will get diabetes, you better not eat it. And beyond that is the soul. The soul wants to eat the, the tanmatra, the subtle vibration of that sweet meat, right? So these 3 circles are taking us from the physical body to the mind, to the intelligence, to the soul. They also represent the cellular world or the physical world called Bhu, the molecular world or the world of relationship or affections called Bhuva, and the electronic world called Swaha. Right. Linear time, eternity, and absolute time. And the unity of 3 dimensions of time represent the 3 forces, and together with the 5 organs of sensitization, the 3 forces, they create what we call is an impression. So we move through these circles, and we must observe in the day the dialogue between the mind and the intellect, right? And the mind wants to react, but the intellect tells the mind that you please pause the reaction. You say the same thing in a different way. And this inner dialogue between the mind and intellect is very, very important for the sadhak, for the seeker of truth. Inside the circle is the first lotus. We come to the first lotus. It is a 16-petaled lotus. This represents the 5 elements, the 5 organs of action, right? And the organ of reproduction, which totals to 15, and the 16th is the mind. 16th is the mind. Now, I'm with an overview of the Sri Yantra. Move through the Sri Yantra just in the vibration of sound, in the vibration of sound. So we saw that initial Bindu became the Bindu, and the crescent, the half moon, and then the Omkar. So the first movement was Omkar, which was sound. The universe was created out of sound. So when we are moving from the gross, it is also a movement from a gross sound into subtle sound. So at this level where we are looking at the 16 petals of the first lotus, we will divide we will bring out the letters of the what you call Sri Yantra. There's a mantra of Tripura Sundari. The mantra, I'm not going into the mantra today. The mantra is called Pancha Dasa Akshari Mantra, means 15-lettered mantra. 15-lettered mantra. And we write those letters also in these petals. And the 16th petal, because there's 16-petal lotus, is the sound called Shrim, which is the heart of Tripura Sundari, which is the mystical heart of Tripura Sundari. So when we start, but then we add one more Shrim, which is the heart of Tripura Sundari. Let of sound.
So those 16 letters, are they any
15 letters.
Are they anywhere near Shrim, or they are all different letters?
No, they are here. They form different mantras. Om, Shrim, Rim, Klim, Aim, Som, and all those letters. I've written them now. He'll send you what do you call?
I already said.
You already said. Oh, right. So, but
So those 15 are in those patterns. The
Yeah.
16th is the Shrim.
Shrim. Actually, the real way of going into this is through sound. I'm just giving you a geographical overview, right? But when we do it next time, we will go much deeper into this with each sound, because the initial vowels, the consonants, the Sanskrit dhatus, all this come in. All this. So, but that is a totally different way of looking at the Sri Yantra. Now, these 16 petals, they denote different Shaktis, and we go counterclockwise. The first is Kama Shakti, the energy of desire. The second is Buddha Shakti, the energy of intellect. Third is Ahankar Shakti, the energy of ego. Fourth is Shabda Shakti, the energy of sound. Fifth is Sparsha Shakti, the energy of touch. Sixth is Rupa Shakti, the energy of form. Seven is Rasa Shakti, the energy of taste. 8 is Gandha Shakti, the energy of smell. 9, the Chitta Shakti, the energy of the mind. 10 is Dhairya Shakti, the Dharana Shakti, the power to hold, right, not to react. 11 is Smriti Shakti, the power of memory. 12 is Nama Shakti, the power of labeling property, Nama Rupa, what we call. 13 is Bija Shakti, to be able to find the motive, the origin in each form. 14 is Atma Shakti, the energy of the soul. 15th is Sharira Shakti, that is the vital energy, the biological vital energy which runs the body. And the 16th is Amrut Shakti, that is the energy of immortality. I mean, of course, to expound upon these will take a long time. We can't finish in each of these, to go deeper into each of these Shaktis and what they mean. But we do visualize them in this 16-petaled lotus. Next, there is an 8-petal lotus. Each petal governs a specific activity, mainly of speech, different parts of speech. Kusuma Shakti, right? The energy of speech, the energy of grasping, the energy of motion, movement, the energy of excretion, the energy of enjoyment, the energy of repulsion or revulsion, where we don't like someone.
So Rajan bhai, in these 8 petals, the numbering are like kind of creating.
Yeah, it's an alternate numbering. It is in this it is especially an alternate numbering. And that means there is an inner movement in these Shaktis, right? And we'll have to study that inner movement in these Shaktis. Why this alternate movement? And I think because it is 8, it plays a part in the law of octaves. That is why we have an inner movement in these Shaktis. What's the time? So the power of repulsion, the power of attraction from which Rag and Dvesh are created, right? The power of equanimity, to be able to remain, balanced in any situation, the power of equanimity. Now, within the inner lotus is the first set of interlocking triangles. We have seen that those that point upward represent the male principle, and those that point downward represent the female principles. And these represent different qualities and Shaktis. They are now and these are the different powers and different qualities of the subtle body. Pure consciousness, that is the bindu inside, is because it is not touching any. This one, yeah. Pure consciousness, which is the bindu inside or the triangle inside, is not touching any of the other lines, the pure consciousness, right? But the pure consciousness wants to become individual consciousness. The cosmic consciousness wants to become individual consciousness. Universal mind wants to become individual mind in each human being. And in that it is separated from unity. This separation from unity is what we call as Maya. And it takes up a subtle body, the Sukshma Sharir. The subtle body comes into a physical body, right? Which we call as life. This subtle body, this Sukshma Sharir, is experienced in the dream state. And it has these 14 qualities, these 14 Shaktis, which are there in the subtle body, which we can experience in the dream state. First is the quality of agitation, right? To be agitated, to kampan, right? In the, in the Hanuman Chalisa we say, Jai Kapis Tuh Loka Ujagar, right? Kapis means the one who has mastered agitation. Kampan upar jene prabhutva medvi lidu. Jai Kapis. You have won over, the monkey attitude of agitation, and when that happens, all the 3 worlds are open to you. Your vision of the 3 worlds opens. That means the mind has calmed down and you've gone beyond the mind. So the first is the agitation. The second is the pursuit. the able to chase your aim in life, able to hold your aim in life, the power to hold your. Now, when you're moving on the path, of the spiritual path, you do need certain things. Like when you go on any journey, you do need certain things. You need a suitcase or whatever, right? And so on the spiritual path, if there's a right magnetism in the body, then we automatically attract everything what we call. So the third petal is of the attracting energy, the attracting. The fourth petal is what you call attitude of enjoyment, the attitude of delight, right? If I'm doing the refining exercises in the morning, I'm not doing them because I have to do them. I'm not doing them because I'm carrying a big luggage on my head. I'm doing them through an attitude of delight, through an attitude of enjoyment. The Samohini Shakti, that is number 5, that is delusion, to be free from delusion, not to be a victim of suggestibility. Stambhini Shakti, 6th, the power to pause, to stop everything, the power to pause. And pause forms in sadhana, it is one of the biggest, steps we can take, is that of pause, to stop, to become immobile in the mind, to become a statue in the mind. The 7 is the releasing Shakti, to be able to give up what is useless, to drop what is useless, what is unnecessary. Sometimes we have this, this attitude of hanging on to things. Even if a thing is useless at home, but we keep it in the garage, God knows when we will, need it, and we don't have that, of releasing it, of dropping it. So it gives us the power to release. The 8th is the ability to control, and there must be control over the inner instruments, man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. And the controlling lies with the essence, the soul. The controlling power lies with the soul.
Soul is only a witness.
Spirit કઈ નથી કરતો, આત્મા કઈ નથી કરતો. સોલમાં તો ઘણું બધું ફરક છે. યાત્રા સોલ કરે છે, જીવ યાત્રા કરે છે, રાઈટ? સ્પિરિટ કઈ કરતો નથી. Spirit cannot do much. The king can only move 1 square at a time. Ranjani Shakti, that is the not to hurt anyone. So we are doing our meditation, but supposing a young child says that you help me in this, you say, hey, it's my time for meditation, you hurt the young child. So to be pleasing, you move on this path of meditation, but you have to be pleasing to everyone. You have to be positive towards everyone. 10 is the intoxicating energy. That now this has 2 forms. We leave the lower intoxication for the higher intoxication, where we drink the wine of God. We leave the lower wine for the higher wine, right? It's called the wine of the mystic. It's called Malani Shakti. Mad means intoxication, right? The 11th is accomplishment of all desires. Now when this Shakti starts rising in the Sukshma Sharir, that means the minute you think of something, that will be fulfilled for you, right? It is, so you have to be very careful where you desire anything in this. 12 is the Sampati Purani, the giver of all. That is Wherever you go, you share this Shakti with whomever you meet. You give it to everyone you meet. And this Shakti is a sort of this thing because it brings luxury. And sometimes we don't want to move ahead, we want to remain in that luxury, and we have to be a little, aware of it. 13th is the Mantramai Shakti, that is to hold and increase the power of the mantra, to realize that everything in the universe is nothing but mantra, everything is formed by mantra, and to understand and see everything as mantra. And the last is Sarva Dvanda Kshayani Shakti, which gets rid of all duality. Right? So you see beyond duality. Now once these Shaktis are awakened, it leads to harmony of all the Sukshma energies in the Sukshma Sharir, in the subtle body. It brings about harmony in the subtle body. The next circle represents 10 triangles. Again, certain Shaktis with their qualities. And again, we go counterclockwise. Now, the first, it is the giver of all accomplishment. Now, here, funny accomplish something that accomplishes really, in the sense that supposing I would say ₹1,000,000, right? But I don't have the power to enjoy those ₹1,000,000. After I die, maybe my children will enjoy it or something. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I have accomplished earning ₹1,000,000, but that accomplishment is not giving me anything. I'm still the old miser that I was. You get what I'm trying to say? So we gain so much in life, but to be able to have the power to enjoy it and to use that. Next is the giver of wealth, and wealth does not mean only money. It means wealth of knowledge and wealth of fame. Fame not in as people know you. Fame means the inner radiation of the body, the inner kirti of the body, right? The third is the energy of doing such activities which bring happiness to everyone else, all those around you. The energy to keep everyone happy, those who come in contact with you. To everyone, give blessings, the energy of blessings. The fifth is the granting of people's desire. When you go to a guru, he tries to say Shanti. You are able to grant people's desires. You're able to pray to, that is the next one, the remove people's suffering. And the seventh is that which gives delight to the god of death. So in the meeting of god of death, you are able to, there's between you and the god of death and moving into death. Yama, yeah. And it is overcoming obstacles, right? So the tamagun now can't, trouble. Ninth is a bringer of now all your, whether it is physical movements, to your inner movements, to the way you eat, everything now will take on a kind of rhythm and beauty, right? And that brings beauty in life. And the 10th is good fortune. Wherever you go, good fortune. So this is the next line of 10. So again, when we remember these Shaktis, it harmonizes our consciousness. Again, the next triangle consists of, next enclosure consists of 10 triangles. These again represent the Shaktis and their qualities. We go the same way, counterclockwise. The first is omniscience, right? That is, when you know your inner Atma, you know everything that is to be known, omniscience. Omnipotence, that is it is through the Atma Tattva that everything has been created, so you have you have realized the potency of the universe. Sovereignty, now you are ruling everything within your inner universe. Each moment you get new knowledge. There's destruction of disease. From all sides you will get unconditional support. There will be defeat of all evils and protection and the attainment of all desires. So these 10 triangles represent that. And these triangles, they help in of impression food, what we call. The next circle has 8 triangles. 8 Kairaj? I can't find it here. I think we have missed out on that one. Okay, we have forgotten that. 8 triangles. Right? Has 8 triangles. Nothing. We have forgotten that. We have forgotten that. Yeah, the last is 8 triangles. The 3 modes of material nature, that is creation, preservation, and dissolution, the 3 forms of the universe, the 2 pairs of opposites, and in the 2 pairs of opposites, now you have the inner vivek, the inner conscience to decide which is right and which is wrong, what to do. Now the Shaktis which give these qualities, the first is Vimal Shakti, the power to sustain, to hold on. Kameshi Shakti, no, second is Kameshi Shakti, is the power to create. Mohini Shakti, the power to dissolve. At this moment, if any negative emotion comes, you just use the Mohini Shakti and it's gone. There's not a gap over there. You don't even have to pause in this thing, right? Vasini Shakti, there is always pleasure, inner pleasure, right? Aruna Shakti, right? You now realize what event is going to happen beforehand. There's as if the, what you call, twilight comes and tells you that this is going to happen, the Aruna Shakti, and it also governs pain. You remove pain. Now there's no pain left in life. Jaini Shakti, which governs cold. Veshwari Shakti, which governs, and the decide what to act. We saw in the duality, Vivek, but at what time to do it? What time to do it, right? If you know, in Shakespeare, Mark Antony gives a speech and he says, there is a tide in the affairs of men which taken at the flood lead on to fortune. So when a man's wave is rising, that is the time to act. But he has to wait for that. He knows that he wants to do this. But in Gujarati we say, Ano daiko chalu thyo che. Ano daiko chalu. When to act, right? Now, sometimes a bad period may just be getting over. So we know what to act, but we have to wait to when to act. Let the bad period get over and then we act, right? So That is called as Kalini Shakti, and we get that. And once these Shaktis come into rhythm and balance, our perception changes completely. We are able to perceive nearly everything in life. Five senses, what is coming in was first coming into already a fixed attitude inside. All that has gone away, and we see exactly what is life.
Mohini Shakti, you say, to apply Shakti so that things will get dissolved.
Right.
But apply, what are they mean to apply? How, is there anything like to apply?
You just will it away. You just say you go away.
Oh, yes.
So, if anger comes momentarily, you just look at it and tell it to go away, and it goes away. Now you don't have to pause or what do you call hold the anger, and there's a tug of war where the anger sanskar comes back, or the sanskar of sadhana comes back, and all that. All that is
So
gone.
this can be attained with the along with yantra.
Yes. Sorry. It's okay. With the mantra also, this you have to look at it at some other time through mantra, because that will require a very deep study.
No, but right now if we just do like scattering and shrim, shrim.
Right. Do the rim mantra. Rim mantra, not the Now, in this circle of 8 triangles, the yogi visualizes 5 arrows, and these 5 arrows represent the what you call 5 senses. And we study Maurya Sahib's brain diagrams. Between B and C, there is something called transference of impulses. That is, now these 5 arrows, even the worst impression coming from transformed into something sweet. So now he will never take a negative impression. He will transform all the impressions to nothing. So he visualizes the 5 arrows. He visualizes the bow in the mind. He visualizes a lasso, a noose, that he now nothing can take him into attachment. And he visualizes a stick that if anything tries to take him into dvesh again, he will stop it at that moment. And of course, the central triangle, the one triangle, is the pure consciousness. Now, I just want to touch over here that this last triangle of 8, what we saw, the last enclosure of 8 before the central triangle, we saw the different Shaktis. Now, Vasini Shakti, she is the one where all the 16 vowels are there. All the 16 vowels. Kameshi, we saw the one which creates, but she is the one of the 5 consonants of the Ka group. Ka, Kha, Ga. Mohini is the 5 consonants of the group. Ka, Ga, Cha, Cha. Right. Vimala is the consonants of the Ta group. Ta, Ta, Ta. Right? Aruna is the 5 consonants of the Tha, 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 the, right? And Jaini is the 5 consonants of the Pa group. Sarveshi is Ya, Ra, La, Va. And Kaulini is Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha. And of course the other, where the Ru, where the L becomes like the Ru, and the Ksha, where the, right? That, so the whole alphabet is in these, 8 triangles. And as we descend from that, we move in the movement of Kundalini Shakti, where it comes down to the lower chakra, and it is. So that's a different way to study the Sri Yantra.
For example, ये जो आपने फरी बोली है तो आपका अरुणा शक्ति बढ़े.
Now we have to study the Shabda with Anuswar. It cannot just be said. So if you say Aruna Shakti, got her, heard her, right? So it has to go this thumb. It cannot just put her as that. So that Anuswara is what takes the syllable back to Bindu. So when you use the Anuswara, you're taking the symbol back to the Bindu. So we'll take that some other time. We'll have to go into that. So this, and then we come to the what you call inner triangle, which is pure consciousness, right? And this is the journey from outside to inside. We can do the journey of Shabda from Omkar to outside, end at the Mooladhar chakra, right? That would be another journey we could do with this thing. So I just put something of the, what do you call? Now I just want to add this over here, that when we enter the Brahmarandra, this is Tawareya Sahib's map of the Brahmarandra. So I just want to add that over here. Now you'll have to show it here. The same one, huh? Show it there. I don't need this.
Okay.
I don't need this. So what I'm trying to say here is the whole system of how we pause thought, and we create a gap and we move into the Brahmarandra. And the Brahmarandra is of, I'll just show you over here. If you can give me one. So it is like this, right? So we enter from the south gate, this gate. When we create we don't allow the energy of impulses to become the energy of thought. So we hold the sensitivity, and when that energy it opens this gate. On this side is shallow memory, this side is deep memory. As we go further, so he says if you can hold your thought for 1 second, it creates dharana. So you enter into shallow memory, deep memory. If you can hold it for 10 seconds, you move into what you call universal divine mind. It's not VDM, it's UDM, universal divine mind. If you can hold it for 100 seconds, you enter into the middle triangle, that is fragment. And all this is registered on the screen of the computer, which he calls as the IESM centers. So I've just taken Tawareya Sahib's just a basic diagram, because his science of the brain also is exactly what the Sri Yantra is saying. So I just wanted to take that, right? So now just when you meditate on this form, first start with the north door, then concentrate on each door one by one as if you're breathing in from that door. Let go of negative thoughts, feelings and sensations. Let go of tension in the muscles, right? And then start moving into the other parts of the then bring attention to the 3 rings. Don't let the mind go astray. And then from the 3 rings, then start visualizing the Shaktis inside, right? So this is the way we penetrate into the Sri Yantra. I've just given today a kind of basic, very basic. This is a very deep science, very, very deep science. And maybe next time when we meet, we can go a little deeper into it. Thanks. Any questions, anyone else? Can you put this together?
So who must have seen like putting the diagrams like this and right? It's so powerful. I mean,
there's been a Russian scientist called Kulyachev, and I've not been able to study his work as yet. And he has gone into the mathematics of this. And it is they are so startled because this mathematics can only be done by a computer. How does an ordinary person without the help of a computer has been able to put this together? So, and the beauty is that in the Shastra, the mathematics is there, but it is all in, stuti of the Devi. Worshipping of the day. You have to, unfold that and come into this thing, the mathematics of the Sri Yantra.
So on a measurement.
So there's a mathematical view, there's a sound view, there's an energy view. You can.
So measurements also has to be so precise.
So
right?
precise, so precise. Right. That is why this is the most difficult one. The one which he is wearing, is the most difficult one to, because the measurements can go astray in creating that. Right. No, I haven't taken the mantra. We haven't taken the mantra. Right.
So just till you come next year and we may go in detail, how do you do mantra sadhana of Shri?
They just do the Rim mantra. Rim mantra.
So
Rim, Rim. It's the creation. Rim. And do it for 5 minutes.
so we go from up.
From here.
Down to up?
Yeah. Rim.
How the breathing movement involves.
Just an ordinary deep breath and breathe out and do it.
Deep breath and
Breathe out.
exhalation.
Exhalation. Do it. And we'll go deeper into this. Right. For me also, it sort of gives me a lot of homework to do. Especially when I want to relate it to what Tavarya Sahib has said.
Because these Om too, right? Om, Reem.
Reem.
Om, Reem.
Reem.
Both of them
Yeah.
go together too.
Reem. But Reem is not just from down up, because the Ha is over here. Reem. Ra is here. So it moves from here and then comes back up. And E is over here. E is over here. The vowels are all over here. Right? At the neck. Right. Throat, sorry. Right. Okay.
Another point.
Yeah.
You mentioned the name of the Russian writer who wrote what's the name?
Kulyachev.
Kulyachev. Kulyachev. I don't know how in Russian how they pronounce it. Kulyachev. I'll send you a link. There's a beautiful website on the Sri Yantra, and you'll find Kulyachev's articles in that. I don't remember it offhand just now. Bolo. Okay, we'll stop over here. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.